Welcome to Breaking Barriers. You know your path. We know the obstacles, and we can teach you how to tear them down. And now your host, CEO and founder of Adapting Social, John Vigero.
All right, welcome back to Breaking Barriers, guys. I'm excited. If you know me, you know I freaking love candy. And so with me perfectly, we got the two-pound, right? If somebody says they don't like candy, I'm like, what else do you lie about?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what else do you lie about?
What is wrong with you?
Exactly. So I'm really excited to have our guests here today. We have Jordan and Kim. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
With iconic candy.
Yes.
Now, one thing that you guys are doing I think is so fascinating, right? I've seen stuff in the past where like people bought like Models and like they bought these other like brands that were like distressed like clothing companies or whatever.
Yep.
I've not heard anybody doing it in the candy segment.
Yep.
And that's so cool. So how did you guys get involved in this?
It's a kind of funny story, but I started this business with my father while I was still in college.
Where were you going?
I went to Lehigh University.
Lehigh, let's go.
I was a mechanical engineer.
Yeah.
I have my master's in engineering. I was planning on going to the defense sector, and we acquired this candy brand, brought it back to the market. And when we acquired it, we were like, all right, what do we do with this thing? Like now we have it, like what do we do?
Right.
My dad's a lawyer and I'm an engineer, like what do we do?
Yeah.
We found a contract manufacturer, we started producing the product, and actually the week that I met Kim back in 2015 was the first sale of that business.
Yep.
And so she's
I was actually with him when he got the phone call that they got the purchase order.
What?
And I remember being like, what purchase order? Like, what is that for? And he's telling me, where's that? We gotta put that back on the table.
Candy's a priority though. We gotta put
Exactly.
I'll just like this.
Yeah, let me hold
You
it.
hold
Let me
it.
hold the hype button.
Yeah, you hold the hype button.
But yeah, so 2015, he gets the first call of the purchase order, and I'm like, hold on, like, give me a little background here on the candy company.
Yeah.
So you can keep going.
Yeah, so we
But wait on, so pause. So because I feel like you jumped a little bit. So but why? So what made you say I'm gonna buy a candy company? So you're in college. Here you are. How the hell did a candy company?
My dad wanted a piece of candy that wasn't around anymore. And so being the inquisitive person that we are, we started doing some research and found out that it wasn't made anymore. Started doing some research into intellectual property and trademark law. We acquired the brand and like, all right, we acquired it, but like now what do we do with it?
Right. So you have the IP for something, but then how do you now manufacture it and make an actual product based on what you know?
Right.
Yeah, and not having any any expertise in this type of business or in making candy or products, it was a very interesting road of like trying to figure out all the steps of trying to find a manufacturer, doing the production of the product, the packaging, getting into the industry and finding distributors, wholesalers, retailers to bring this product in.
And then it's like you make a product, but now how do you sell that product? How do you get it into the stores? How do you get people to buy it? How do you get it
To
into
know about it.
distributors?
And that's kind of how we all fell into this niche business that I like to call is nostalgia candy. And I think that now, 10, 15 years down the road from us, we are now considered one of the foremost confectionery companies that does nostalgia candy brands.
Wow.
And it's
That's a
become
hype button moment. That's a hype button moment.
And I think it's really interesting because, like, you're right, there's a lot of companies that do something like this. They take distressed brands, and it's because of the brand awareness. It is about people knowing that is a quality product they remember from their childhood, and so people are drawn to that type of thing.
Well, let's take a step back for a second. So I feel like we jumped into like how the company started, but like let us give you a little bit background about like what the company is. So basically, Iconic Candy, we're a family-owned and operated candy company. We revive nostalgic candy brands. So we basically take brands that are discontinued from your childhood, whether it's from the 80s, the 90s, the 70s, it doesn't matter what decade or what demographic. We take brands that we know have brand value, we acquire the IP, and then from that point, we then revive the product. So we work on finding the manufacturer, and then we distribute it out to the public. So that is what Iconic Candy does. And what's really cool about what we're doing now is we are launching all of these brands that are like 90s and 2000s focused. And I feel like that's where a lot of the conversation is, because people are so excited about this specific portfolio of items. And it started with Cream Savers, and now it's moved on to all these other brands, which we could talk about individually. But, as husband and wife, Jordan and I, like, we work together, we live together, we run this business
We
together.
do everything together.
You have kids.
We got kids. We got 2 kids, 2 amazing kids.
You go to Charlie's together.
We drink together, we work out together.
First off, thank you for that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why we gotta have Kim around.
Right, I
Kim
wanted
just
you
gets
to
us
know
on
that.
track.
She stays on track.
Yes.
You know what it
That's
is,
what I use her
too?
for.
It's like when people ask Jordan, like,
what I
well,
keep her around for.
how did a company get started? I feel like you're always
Yes.
like, you're not sure exactly how to explain, like, because it's very, like, there's a lot that went into like the creation
Yes.
of the company. It's kind of hard to like break down every individual step.
Totally.
Especially for like the average person that doesn't understand how to manufacture products or how to acquire IP, or how to do any of these things. Like, there's a lot involved.
Do you have so I have a lot of questions, but like the one question that's
Go
just
for
like that's
it.
top of my mind is like, so you're approaching these older brands, right? Now some of them, even if they've been gone for a long time, now if they have vacated the IP because they're not redoing anything with it, do you still have to reach out to them?
No. So that's the interesting thing about it. Like it's twofold. There's one, the way that we do our research is one, do we find a product that we believe it can become a good quality product again in this day and age?
It's got to
And
have
two,
brand value,
it's gotta
like
have
brand awareness.
It's got to have also just a good quality product. It's got to be a good candy. It can't be a fad like like a candy buttons that you'd eat once and then you'll never eat it again. It's got to be something that can transition from a nostalgia product to an everyday product.
Right.
The other aspect of it is that it's got to be a product that's available. That trademark, because if you can't bring the product out under that name, it's just like you just might as well just bring out something new and just try getting it out to the market. So usually when that type of thing happens, we file for the IP and the trademark, and then we start going to research of what things can we acquire of this brand, marketing material, recipes. We do reach out sometimes to the older companies about trying to acquire those things. We own all of our brands. We do license Cream Savers from Mars Wrigley.
Got it.
But all of our other brands are wholly owned, and that is.
So wait, was this formerly a Mars brand? Is that why you're doing
Mars
it?
brand. They stopped producing it.
So Cream Savers was originally, it actually has a long history. It actually started at Kraft, then it went to Nestle, then it went to Wrigley, then Wrigley acquired, then Mars acquired Wrigley, and then it became a Mars product. So
and
now it's
and this was like supposed
and now it's
to
an
be
iconic candy product.
It was like it was like a sister product to Lifesavers,
Got it.
So at the time, like they were trying to revive it, and they came to us to revive it. That was 2021.
Right.
And we really saw the brand value, and obviously Cream Savers, but then again this whole demographic, like the millennials, the Gen Z, that is all these 90s brands that were.
Yeah, I think that Kim and I like to say is that we were born in the 90s. Born in the 80s. Born in the 80s.
Raised by the
and
90s.
raised by the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because, what we get to do with these products is bringing them out, but we now own and sell some of our childhood nostalgic favorite
how
candies.
cool is that?
And that was like a weird moment to me when we started doing that, because our original brands that we started out with were Reed's and Regal Crown, are two hard candies from my dad's youth when he was a kid. And so like that was obviously fun to do, but I didn't have those types of nostalgic ties to it. But this portfolio that we've recently brought out, like these are things that are like,
this is our childhood, especially now as adults and as parents.
Right.
We have young kids, and I'm like, wait, I want my kids to have Bubble Jug the same way I had Bubble Jug when I was a kid. I want my kids to have Ouch Band-Aids the same way that I had Ouch Band-Aids. So it's like I want to pass down my memories to my children, and I can't do that if these products are not available.
Yeah,
so like
Kim likes to say that nostalgia is transferable. Like we're trying to pass down what we had to our kids, kind of like how we kind of adopted our parents' music when we were kids, like from the 70s and 80s. And so it's very nice to be able to share these types of things with us, with our friends, with our kids, and then the people that we bring in back out with their family and friends and their kids that they remember. Like that's really what
we say nostalgia transcends generations.
Yes.
Like it doesn't have to just be my nostalgia. It could be my parents' nostalgia, but then my parents' nostalgia can become my kids' nostalgia, right? So it's transferable. Yeah, that's what we like to say. We actually I wanted to say something when we were just talking about IP, because we had this conversation the other day, is like when it came to a lot of these brands, I remember being in bed with Jordan and we're laying there and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what do I say?
Hear me out.
Hear me out. Hear me out. And he's like, oh God, what's coming?
I have
right?
no idea
and
what's coming next.
I'm like, I have an amazing idea. I just followed all of these trademarks. And he's like, babe, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning.
He's like, you did this in bed right now?
He's like, can this wait? I'm like, no, I have to tell you right now. And this was 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's so funny and like
Kim, you're a killer.
Yeah, she's
That's a good thing,
is.
though.
It absolutely.
Yeah.
She motivates me, and I believe I motivate her. We work better together. Where I know that a lot of people say, "How can you work with your spouse or significant other?" And I say, I don't know how I wouldn't.
Right.
They did an article.
I would agree with that statement.
When we launched Retro Sours, they did an article. I think, was it People or was it Today? I forget which article it was.
It was the People magazine,
But
I think.
in the article, they referred to us as small but mighty,
Yes.
and I was like,
that's exactly how I
I
describe her, right?
Yeah.
Small but mighty.
mighty.
I love that.
It's funny you're talking about to Emma, and you said like how she kind of turns off when she's out of work. You know, she wants to be at home and
present.
But like us,
It never turns off.
It's like the opposite.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I don't think there's one way is better, but for us, it's just it never turns off.
Right.
And I think it's a little bit difficult sometimes to go through life and like everything that we're doing all day and night when we're out socializing and still talk about a lot of work. But it just means it's just so. For us, it's just so passionate.
And
it's ingrained in us.
It is, but it also, it depends on the people, right? Like I said, like me and my wife, like same thing. My wife will be in bed and she'll be like, I have a fucking payroll question.
Right.
And I'm like, you fucking payroll right now? Right? What?
Like, are you kidding? Is this what you're thinking
but
about?
like that's how she's gonna ask it, and I'm like, all right, what do you need, right? Like we gotta answer it. But like it's so different because I have friends also who run businesses that just like Emma and Rob that are like, hey, when we're home, boom, we're good. Like let's not talk about this. We talk about it later.
Yep.
And the one thing though, so it's funny. I was on a podcast with this Harvard professor, and he's like this guy who's like really ingrained in entrepreneurship and like studying like people who are successful. And he's like, I'm talking to him, he knows me, and he's like, John, the issue with people like you is, he goes, you buy the waterfront beach property, but you never enjoyed the view. Yeah. Right? And he's like, and then he said that, and I'm like, well, I don't want to be that guy, right? But, and that's what with Sal Ventry. Sal's like always like that, like angel on my shoulder where we'll have conversations and we'll both be running. And then he's like, like last summer, he goes, this summer, I'm going to be okay if I take a couple less deals, but enjoy my summer, right? Enjoy my family.
Summer Fridays.
Yeah, Summer Fridays. There you go.
Summer Fridays.
Yeah. But like for me,
I keep forgetting this button's underneath my ass.
But like it's the hard part, and I think would be similar with you guys, right? Is that the world of entrepreneurship now is virtual. Yeah. So like if I'm at Jenks or I'm at Charlie's and I have a deal pop up and I could close a deal, like I'm gonna do it.
You
like,
gotta take that.
I'm never gonna be that guy. I remember my wife was like, I started my company when I was 17. So back in 2008, I remember I had not taken an unplugged vacation since that date, right?
We've never taken an unplugged vacation, literally ever.
Yeah, and my wife was like, all right, on our honeymoon, like you have to do it, right? So at the time I had a business cell phone and I left it with my chief operating officer. I get there and she's like, you have to promise me you're not gonna go on your phone at all, whatever else. I'm like, I'm not. And we're there for 2 fucking weeks, by the way. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So we get there, and between her being in the shower, I was like a fucking crackhead. I'm like, fucking, she's in the shower. I'm like, Chris, what's going on? What do you need? Who do I need to call? But it's like, everybody's different, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of what you want.
Talking about not being able to be unplugged. Before Kim started work with me, Kim was the CEO of a pretty large family-owned commercial real estate business. Yeah. And 2020 during COVID, everything was hitting the fan. Right. And we had our daughter in Manhattan, and on her recovery bed after delivery, she was on her computer.
My daughter was like 10 minutes old.
On her computer doing
Jordan,
work.
fire up the laptop.
And the nurses come in and they look at me and they pull me aside. She's like, what is she doing? And
I'm like, working.
She's like breastfeeding.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Yo.
Oh my God. Wait, if you only knew the types of pictures that I have of my kids being young, like babies, and I'm literally sitting on the computer working and they're like hanging over my shoulder. I'm like holding them with one arm and I'm like,
I remember you had with a DockATot, the thing where where Quinn would like sit around you and she'd have her computer in front of her.
I'm one of those people that like I can't turn off. I don't like to turn off. That's
I'm
where
like
I
that
thrive.
too, so I understand that.
I like to work, and if I'm not working, I'm bored as fuck. Like
you know
I have to constantly be moving forward.
Yep.
being like sitting and being stale or like complacent for like 3 seconds even, I'm over it. That's why I'm always filing new trademarks, because it's like we're talking about all the things that we've got right now, but I'm not thinking about these. I'm thinking 3 years ahead, 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead. What are we doing next quarter? What are we doing next year? You know
what they say? Only the paranoid survive.
Yes.
Right?
That's true.
So like when you're always out there, like I heard the CEO of Intel say that, and I was like, dude, like I'm fucking always like wired like that too. But see, you and I are fucked up the same way.
I know.
You know,
There's like wires crossed
my
somewhere.
executive coach is like, dude, like you're fucked. Because anytime if I'm in a setting where like I should be like I shouldn't be on my phone. I shouldn't be working, right? Like I'll be sitting in my kid's playroom, right? And I'll have an idea pop up. And I'll be like, oh shit, let me grab my phone real quick.
I have to write it down.
And it's like I gotta do it real quick. And it's like my wife will look at me and I'm like, this is a good one. I gotta write it down. Like it's you know, we can't shut off.
Yeah, and we can't be sedentary. Like we're never sedentary.
One of our employees that does all of our brand management, she knows never to call me. She only calls Jordan because she says she doesn't want to mess up my train of thought. Because she knows I'm like always thinking about something or doing something.
There's also that she just doesn't pick up her phone.
No, I don't think but she's like, I don't want to mess up Kim's train of thought, because every time she'll call me with something, I'm like, or I'll be like, nope, I can't talk to you right now. Nope, I'm on something else, you know?
And then you gotta boom.
Yeah.
But it's good though. I could feel, and like my wife and I, because like my wife is exactly like you, and you're like me, but like, you know, it's funny, over the years what I've realized about like business is like you always hear like, oh, you have to have a balance.
Yeah.
But when you look at what balance truly means, that equals zero.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a net.
And it's a net zero, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's not good, right? So like I like to use leverage words like harmony, right?
Yeah.
Harmony.
I think we have that harmony and everything's harmonious. Like you're doing what you're supposed to do and you feel like you're making impact, like you work together. And ultimately, listen, your kids growing up, like that's the one thing for me. Like I grew up, my dad wasn't like, you know, he had his own alcohol issues and whatever else. And, you know, but like he wasn't home and I had to step up as the oldest of 5 early, right? But like the one thing I know about my dad and it gave to me was my dad, no matter what he was doing when he was not working, that motherfucker was at work every day doing a jackhammer like early in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And so his work ethic was big to me. So like that's the one thing I said to my wife, and you know she says, and I think about you guys is like your kids are always going to see your work ethic.
Yeah.
And
and that's so
really
important to be able to instill that type of thing in your
100%.
kids, even at a really young age where you think that they're not really perceiving, but we know that we perceive everything that you do.
Yeah.
And they will see one thing about the love that we have for our you know each other, for our kids.
Right.
And the way that how much effort and you know our work ethic, everything that we do is 110%, and they see that. And I think that instills something into them as they get older. They'll learn that that is the way that they need to move forward in their life.
Yeah, I mean, just tapping into like the balance thing is. Okay, yeah, people say that there should be like a work-life balance, whatever. But for me, without work, my life is imbalanced. You know what I mean? Like I actually need that to balance out this other level of
I go
our
crazy
life.
if I don't have that
like,
stuff.
It drives me nuts.
Yes.
And then when it comes to our kids, it's funny because they always see us working. You know, they go, Mommy, that's our office. Or like Quinn will be like, let's go to our office. You know, like they know because we're a family, right? And they come, they hang out. Our office is super comfortable. You feel like you're in a living room. You know, it's nice. It's colorful. But when we're at home, our kids see us like on our laptops, and my son will be like, Mommy, I have to work. And he'll go grab out, we have like the
wireless keyboard,
and he'll go grab it and like put it on, he'll go grab it and like put it on his lap and just start going like this.
He's like, I'm working.
He's like, I'm working, Mommy. I have my work. And it's so like, I love that. I'm like, starting them young. Like we already said, they're part of the company, right? They're our chief tasting officers.
I love it.
They're CTOs.
CTO.
I love that. CTOs. But you know what's important about that too, though, is like I remember, because I grew up, like my family had financial challenges growing up. That's why I started my first company, Adapting. And like I looked at it like, you know, again, like at certain points, like my family was on like, you know, food stamps and stuff. Like it was like that bad.
Yeah, that's.
And I remember like I am who I am, and I build the companies I build because like of that struggle. I'm like, I'm never going back.
You never want to go back.
But you know, the big
it makes you work harder.
Correct. You know, I had that chip on my shoulder that's like inevitably never going to come off because of feeling the way I felt at that time. Yeah. But the one thing that me and Sal talk about so often is like, yo, how do we instill in our kids the hunger we have But when you live in the house that you live in and you drive what you drive and they see the things that you have, because I didn't see that.
They don't
I saw
understand
people have
how
that.
hard it is.
Correct. Because like I remember like again like I was the dude when I was younger where it's like my friends like, oh, we're going to Six Flags and I'd be like, Mom, can I go? Like we don't have money. I'm like, yeah. All right, like I can't go. And it's like, but my kids aren't going to experience that. But those things are fundamental. But that's why I'm saying what I'm sharing I think is important. Him and I always talk about, which is like the keyboard thing of them. You guys always working. It's like, you know, they understand that like maybe they're not going to understand struggle, you know, but maybe they'll understand that you working your ass off the way that you guys are is how you have this life.
There are times where our kids will be like, Mommy, stop working. Daddy, stop working. Come play with me. And we're like, guys, we have to work. Like, we're not doing this because we don't want to spend time with you, but like, this is our business. This is our family. This is how we eat. This is our legacy. This is how we live in this house. You know, you have to understand that there are times where we have to work, and then there's times, you know, that we can put it aside. But when there's things presently happening that we have to sit there and be handling, like, not that it's priority, but like, someone's got to do it, and it's the two of us in the business. So, you know.
One of the things that I learned, and it's interesting, because like the evolution of a business is so interesting. Because like, you know, you're talking about kids, right? So when I was first starting adapting, one of my mentors at the time was like, John, your child, this is your child, right? And it's crawling right now. You're feeding it, right? But when you build a business and it matures enough, it's not going to need you as much. You know, and that's a weird thing. I remember, like, probably like 6-7 years ago when I first started coming to the office, and like I wasn't needed in daily operations. I was like, yo, this is sick. Like now I'm a business owner. And I remember leaving, and then I was like the most depressed in my life for like a month.
Because you weren't working in the business.
You were working on the business.
I was on it. I walked in and I'm like, with my sales team, I'm like, all right, guys, where you need me? Like, no, we're good here. Like, we got this. I'm working on these deals. I'm like, all right, Chris, we need you for operations. Everything's good. All right, what about marketing stuff? Everyone's like working. Like, John, you're bothering us. Get out of here. It's like, damn, I'm just like the old guy here now. Like, what the fuck? Like,
we say this all the time. We're like, we need to spend more time working on the business and not in the business.
Right now we're in that like real growth phase where
you got to be in.
We have really grown quite exponentially over the last 3 or 4 years, and you know we're growing our team, we're growing our portfolio, we're growing our distribution with all of our products, and we're getting to that point where we're going to be implementing more people that are working in our business so that we can continue to work on the business.
Yeah, I mean, we found out the other day that we got accepted into a really exciting program that we're doing with Walmart. They're taking 5 of our SKUs. And like we didn't even have a minute to actually sit down and enjoy it
and reflect on it.
That's how you know. That's how you know you're in growth mode, though.
Because I'm working on that project.
That this happened today.
Actually, it was funny because we're working on like 10 different really large projects at the same time, and it's so funny. I remember saying that to you in the car. We found out about it, started going to work, and then on the way back home from work, going to pick up the kids, I look at Kim, I go, you know what? We didn't even talk about the fact that we just got our products into Walmart.
Yeah,
do you realize that?
Crazy.
That's huge.
Because we just had other things going on.
That's that whole thing that Harvard guy said, right? You get the beach house, but you're not enjoying the view.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And honestly, that happens to me every freaking time. You know, and it's like, but in a way, like, that's part of scaling anything.
Oh yeah.
You know, like because like listen, like at the end of the day, it's like you still have so many more ambitions for the business. That even though this is a big deal,
so important. Like 20 different like large
I think it's
accounts
so
we're
important
working
to really love the journey of the active journey of building the business, not the end goal. Is not what you're striving for. It's not really the end. It's enjoying what you're doing.
I mean,
I love doing what we do on a daily basis and being a part and building this business, and that's the enjoyable thing for me. Obviously, we have goals and things that we want to achieve, and we have these milestones. But if you're not enjoying what you're doing on a daily basis, then I think you're a little lost.
Dude, you know it's so funny you say that because go ahead.
I was gonna say like, I forget who told me this, but they said if you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life, right? And that is truly how we both feel. We love what we do every single day. We love getting up. We love going to the office. We love grinding our ass off. And like that is, it doesn't make us feel like, well, I mean, we're obviously
brownie points. I love it. Let's go, Jordan. But you know what though? This is the thing though. So like, but I heard this a few years ago from Elon Musk, like in one of his like interviews. But it was when Tesla was about to go belly up, and he was like sleeping in the factory, not sleeping, like just grinding. And the thing, so like when I hear that saying, I always like wholesomely disagree with it. But it's not that I disagree with it. I have a different take on it.
Yeah.
After like hearing him say that, right? Because this is the thing. Like, if you guys in a few years, which obviously God willing, you don't ever find yourselves in the position, but if you have a really tough year and shit's about to go south, right? You're fighting, you're doing whatever, you're not loving it then.
Yeah.
Right? But when you love something,
Yeah.
you're gonna fight for it with
Exactly.
your life, right?
Absolutely.
It's the 50
Every
Cent,
day.
get rich or die trying, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like build this or die trying.
Yeah.
And I think when like he said something, because somebody was like, oh my gosh, I forget like which executive said this, but like this dude was like, yo, when you're working with Elon, he doesn't use happy as a metric or it doesn't have any value to him.
Yeah.
His value is in like the way that you're saying that you operate, which is like he wants to be working, building things, grinding, growing, like that's his happiness,
Yeah.
right? But he's not looking at like, oh, I want to be happy.
Yeah.
Like I want to smile and like live, laugh, love. Like it's not his metric.
Yeah.
And it shifted that for me, you know?
I mean, how often do you see him smiling?
Right.
That's very true.
So, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I feel like what you guys are saying is like, what you do love is that you're moving, you're working together, you're growing, you're building something, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the key here. And so many entrepreneurs, which is why I'm digging into that, they care. They're like, you know, I mentor a lot of, you know, new businesses, and a lot of these new businesses owners are like, hey, you know, I'm you know, it's hard to find new customers, or like I'm trying to get funding and it's like really difficult. And it's like, do you think you're not supposed to have these problems?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. That's entry ticket.
Yeah.
Like
the entrepreneurial life is not for everybody.
No. And this one I just had last Friday, I'm sitting there and he goes, dude, I was working 60 hours in my other job and I was making money at least. He goes, now I'm not making any money. I'm working like 100 hours. I'm like, dude, yeah, welcome.
Yeah, but
Like,
you're also
get-
reinvesting in yourself and in your business, right? And I think a
You're
lot
not
of
doing
people,
it for somebody else.
a lot
Yeah.
of people get confused when they are not used to owning a business and then start owning a business, that they think, oh, I'm just going to be making all this money.
Right.
But what you don't realize is you also have to reinvest that money
Yes,
into the
into the
business,
business.
right? So you're not always going to see a distribution. You're not always
Right.
going to see a paycheck at the end of the day, because something's got to pay for the continued growth of the
Correct.
business.
You're building something
so like in
larger than
our
yourself.
business specifically,
Exactly.
we have manufacturing purchases, right? And
Yeah.
if we're constantly laying out money before we receive inventory, and then we have to pay for all of these orders before we even ship to our customers, and there's a cash flow cycle involved there.
Yeah.
But for us, like if we got 25 containers that were 25, 40-foot containers coming in 1 month, do you know how much money we're spending that month? So there's not always going to be a huge distribution. There's months there's no distributions, right?
Right.
It's all based on like a life cycle. And people
Right.
forget that as business owners, you have employees to pay, you have operational expenses, you have payroll, you have business, like inventory, whatever it is. People don't get that,
Right.
right? They think like, oh, I own my own business, so I have all this money.
Right.
It doesn't always work.
It's not
like
how it works, no.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. So with that said, so out of these, what's the favorites you guys have individually?
So I would say one of my favorites was the Ouch bubblegum Band-Aids.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I remember carrying that around, and when I was finished with the gum, I would always put the most random things in the tin and keep it in my room as like I was pretending like I had like a secret little case.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I was holding like some pins and some rocks in there, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always
Dude,
loved
I
that.
remember these vividly.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
My favorite, well, I have two. So my favorite, I think, originally was Cream Savers. Like when Mars came to us and they wanted us to license the brand and bring back Cream Savers, I remember just being like, holy shit, this
Yeah.
is an opportunity we cannot pass up on. This was my favorite thing as a kid. So we did that. But now, moving forward, the Retro Sours, I mean, we cannot keep this shit in stock.
Really?
We produced 2 million units of Retro Sours to date, and we've got like another 5 million units in production.
And to
Wow,
date, that
let's
means
go.
that's 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, that's in 3
Wow.
months.
3
So
months.
it's
Wow.
fucking,
That's huge.
it's wild.
That's huge.
It's sugar. It's sugar. Woof.
Getting too excited.
yeah,
it's
that's how
sugar.
good it is.
Had posted these on their website for sale, and they sold out in 4 minutes. So,
What? Yeah, so now the
yeah.
product is going to be in It's Sugar, Cracker Barrel, Five Below, Hy-Vee. It's going into Walmarts now. It's
Right.
going to be going through to a lot of different places.
Yeah,
but
we're
we're
working
literally
on,
just in
like,
the
big
initial stages
projects.
of getting this product out the door to some of our larger retailers and distributors. And it's just wild because they're buying so much product. It's hard for us to even get product.
Keep up with it.
We can't keep it in
It's
stock.
unbelievable. We're bringing in new
right
machinery into our facility to double or triple the capacity of our production capabilities. But I mean, we've produced 9 40-foot containers of product.
And what's also really crazy about all these products, and people ask us all the time, so we don't own the manufacturing facilities that make these. We actually manufacture in 5 different countries in 7 different manufacturing facilities. Wow. So people always say like, oh, don't you want to bring it all in-house? Don't you want to? And I'm like, hell
no.
It's a headache.
No way.
It's a headache.
That is literally how businesses fail, because people over leverage themselves. They bring too much upon themselves. Like, I'm not a manufacturer. Right. I don't want to start manufacturing.
Just thinking about the operational logistics of having to run all these different types of products under one facility would just be an absolute nightmare.
You can't do like a chocolate bar in the same facility that you make a gum product or like a hard candy, or they're all different pieces of equipment, different assembly lines, different pack types.
Well, the thing though too is like I feel like when you look at some of the companies that do that, when you hit a certain threshold of revenue, and you're like, how do I make an extra 20%? Then maybe you figure that out at that time if you want to. But in most cases, it's like, I don't want the headache because it's a lot of work.
Us, it's worked very well. I think it's streamlined and made us run, I think, pretty lean because we don't have a lot of those operational expenses. So
we don't have that.
We're buying finished goods from our manufacturers. We have all our contracts. So we own all the products. We bring it into our warehousing facility, 500,000 square foot facility in Pennsylvania, and we ship internationally and domestically. We use brokers and salesmen around the country that are all contracted to help us sell our products. We do marketing with marketing teams and stuff like that. But in our office, we have 4 employees. We're obviously hiring new people, but
everything.
A lot of our things are outsourced. It has helped us run our business.
Even our packaging company, like we have 2 different packaging companies that we work with. One is in Amsterdam, one is in New Zealand. Even our packaging people are international. It's crazy. Like, if you knew how many time zones I had listed on my phone at all times, because I'm always like, oh, what time is it in Turkey? What time is it in Greece? What time is it in New Zealand?
We're actually just opening up our new office, and we plan on putting like all those clocks.
I was going to say like those things.
So we can know what time it is everywhere.
That's so cool.
Because sometimes we're on the phone at like 2 o'clock in the morning with one of our manufacturers in China talking about something that we're working on. We're like, oh my God.
3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, all right, let me sleep for an hour. Okay, wake up, go to the gym. Okay, go to the office.
It's a grind.
Yeah, it is a grind.
So what would be one thing if you can go back, and I forgot to ask you this question, Emma. What would be one thing if you can go back to the beginning of Iconic, knowing what you know now, what piece of advice would you give yourselves at that time?
I would say try to allow yourself to take things off of your plate. Try to hand it off to people to help you grow your business.
Delegate.
I think that one of the things that Kim and I still have problems to this day is not letting us
passing off things.
It is the hardest thing for us. I think that it goes to the fact of like us building this business. We feel like everything we want to do because we want to make sure it's done right and done well. But as you grow, I think it's something that's so important to learn is that you can't do it all yourself. And until you realize that, you're going to struggle.
I think that it's also twofold though, because we're both perfectionists and we both have the mentality that if we give it to someone else and they don't do it correctly, then we have to go back and redo it. So it almost is like double the amount of time.
Save time, just do it.
Have to correct someone else's mistake.
So I think it's really important to find the right people to work with you that it's going to fit in your culture, and especially with us as a family, fit within our family dynamic, because that's I think the most important thing is going to help you grow the quickest.
100%.
100%.
That's one thing that I feel like, I always had that mentality too. And one of my mentors was like, dude, if you're going to scale this thing, you have to invest in the right people, the right partners that will do it, and they're not going to do it right on day one.
And they're not going to do it for cheap either.
Right. And also, they're never going to be you, right? Like I remember I was in Tony Robbins' like platinum coaching, being coached. And Tony was like, do you know if I went to any of my, like, I think it's like 500 companies, or how many companies he has, he's like, if I went there today and you and I just showed up, he goes, do you know how many things I would find wrong? He goes, but that comes with me not being there, right? So he's like, you have to look at those things and say, well, I have to, like, it's not going to be perfect. Like the way that you would do things every day, people can match up to a certain extent, but it's not their business.
But at the same time, you also don't want to have like a bunch of copies of yourself, because then you don't have,
like free thought. Like you want other people to provide something that will, Like
that you can't do. Like, I think that's one of the things that I love best about working with Kim is that we are very similar, but at the same time, we're very different, our trains of thought and the way that we do things, and things that she's good at, I'm not that great at.
My brain is a lot of organized chaos. His brain is just very organized.
Right. Yeah. And that's how it works, though.
Yeah.
You guys have the best of both, right? That's really cool. So now, where do you guys see this going in the next 5, 10 years?
Oh my God.
I think very similar to Emma's answer is that we're trying to build a legacy for ourselves, for our family. We've continued to grow year over year. We do have a goal. We want to become one of the top 50 confectionery companies in the next 5 years.
Yep.
I think that we're on our way to that.
See, I also have even further plans than that is we have so many ideas that even fall outside of the realm of iconic candy, but in different elements of the confectionery business.
Also
so
snacks.
We have other brands, not brands, but other businesses that we're starting that are their own thing, new brands from the ground up. That I think have a lot of leg to stand on. I think would be highly successful. So that's why we want to get people into Iconic to help run this, so that we could then focus on the growth of another business idea. But yeah, I mean, in the next 3 to 5 years, I'm I want to have a huge portfolio of products. I want to be in every single store. I'm Costco, Sam's Club, Target, Walgreens, CVS, AutoZone, 7-Eleven. Let's keep it going. Every single major category or class of trade, we're going after it. And especially for 2023 and 2024, we built so much of our business in the value channels and the specialty retailers and the candy stores that now we're really focused on growth in mass, club, grocery, and convenience. So that is 2024 and beyond that we're focusing on all of that. But yeah, I mean, I want to just take over the world.
I love it. I love it. You guys are making it happen.
In the brain.
Yeah. Remember that show? That was a good show, man. Jeez. But so in ending here, obviously you guys were lucky to hear the question beforehand that I typically ask. But I'm going to change it up. So I'm going to use a simulation that obviously is not real. But if your kids were talking to their let's call it your great grandchildren. Let's just pretend in a world that we don't want to have happen. That you're not there. What do you want your kids to say? I'm going to start with you. That great grandfather Jordan was like.
For me, I think that since I've become a father, it's so important for me to say that he cared about family, friends, the circle that he had around him, that Jordan took care of everything. No matter what I do, no matter what I'm working on, I think that I hope that my family and friends always think that they can rely on me. So reliability and integrity.
That's great. How about you?
A badass bitch.
Her gravestone just says badass bitch on it. Her great grandkids damn, great grandma was crazy.
I feel like I want my kids, I want my grandkids to always listen. It's different being a woman in this industry, especially in the candy industry. It is controlled solely by men. All the big companies are all older men, and it's all the women that are now starting to get notoriety in the industry. I mean, our partner that does all of our warehousing, she just got inducted into the Candy Hall of Fame, which was really freaking cool.
Yeah, it was.
It's really cool.
And I aspire to be like Georgia. She's a killer,
awesome.
right?
She is a badass bitch.
She is a badass bitch. And, it's I want my kids, my grandkids to be we, not just me, but we paved the way and built something truly amazing, for ourselves and for our children. And not just that, we're partners in life and business.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
We are a married couple that are running a business together, and we're not biting each other's heads off, which I think is a really good thing, right?
Yeah.
Because it is hard for husbands and wives to work together. And I always tell him, you stay in your lane, I'll stay in my lane,
Always say
and we're good. Don't cross over. You can swerve.
Cross that line,
but,
kill you.
You better go back. So, yeah, I think that's what.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And is there any it could be from parents or mentors, has there been any adages or quotes that come to you guys when it comes to resilience? Because obviously the one thing, and the reason why I ask that question typically is because when I was starting adapting early phase, again, my family, I didn't have anybody to fall back on. Right?
Yeah.
So I was what can I find that like would motivate me. And I was Googling on my fucking stupid little Dell laptop, and I found this saying that was live a few years of your life like most people won't, so you can live the rest of your life like most people can't.
Yep.
And to this day, 17 years later, like, you know, and speaking about good partners like my wife, in all of our moves, I printed that out. I have the same printing from 2008 that I had in my parents' like my bedroom.
Yeah.
And I kept it in all the moves, and I'm like a fucking gypsy. Like every 2 years, I want a different house, I want a bigger house, I want a better house. And so we're on our like 4th or 5th house,
Oh
my
my
poor wife.
God.
And now we found our like acreage and shit, so we're not moving out. But
Okay.
But in all the moves, I lost that paper.
Yeah.
And I remember I went in our new closet. It's like crazy, and I walk into my part of it, and I saw it on the wall, and she goes, "This is the year we're gonna fucking apply this again. We're growing, right?" And I was like, "Damn." But anyway, so that motivated me from 08 to 2025.
Right.
Is there anything like that for you guys that rings?
I mean, I think for me, it's, I don't know what the quote is because I
Make it an OG. Make it an OG.
crucify quotes and sayings, so like I'm not even gonna try. But I think the theory behind it is it's okay to fail and it's okay to fall, but it's about how you get up
Right.
and how you rise and how you grow from that point
Right.
forward. So
It's like we're
you know,
connected
every deal that we try to do is not going to be a winner. There's always going to be people that come back and say,
Right.
nope, we don't want your products, or like, nope, not good enough,
Right.
here and there. But like you have to take all of that energy and you have to push it into the growth of the business.
It's
And that's
exactly was it
that's
come out of
how
the
it
mouth,
is.
and that's weird. It's not weird because it happens
do it all
literally
the
all
time.
the time.
Yeah.
But I also think that we try to instill that in our kids very early on, trying to teach them that failure is not the worst thing. It's how you learn from that and how you grow and how you get better is, you know, the thing that it's the character that makes you, right?
Totally.
It's the accelerant
Yeah.
that propels you further.
Failure is very important.
It is. I heard this guy, Patrick Bet David, he always says like that at his table, his kids are older, but you know, they're like in like middle school and high school and stuff. But he's like, you know, at the table, he'll ask at the dinner table, like, all right, what do we fail at today?
Yeah.
Right? He tries to make it a positive twist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, like, to your point, right?
You
'Cause,
learn
like,
from it.
if you're scared to fail, you know, you never get in the game.
And you're
just like,
scared, then you're scared to do.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Because I know, listen, the one thing about like what I've learned, at least in my career, is like I'm definitely like not the smartest dude in the room, right? That's
Yep.
why I hire smarter people around me.
Yep.
But I will outwork anybody, right? And I think the thing is like when you look at that, most really smart people that I know, like I have a lot of good friends that are like engineers with the Stevens, this, that, whatever, like smart people, but they smart themselves out of fucking everything.
Yep.
It's like they overthink things. And I had this conversation with Jamie the other day, because obviously, like, you know, Adapting Social does all Jamie's stuff.
Yep.
And I'm sitting down with him, and he goes, you know, I'm surrounded by people on his like executive and board or whatever that are like, you know, this person helped Martha Stewart with her brand, and this person this. And he's like, sometimes you got to like hone people in, be like, hey, listen, you're being too smart for the scenario.
Right.
Like we got to get scrappy here.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a big lesson in like, you know, knowing the difference between two.
Yep.
Because like too many people let opportunities pass them by because they're waiting for the pursuit of perfection.
Yes.
Yep.
That's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, you got to just get out there and do it.
I've gotten
Yes,
caught
but
in
you
that
know
a
what?
couple
On
times.
that same topic, though, there is a quote that I do love.
Oh,
which
boom.
is,
Here we go.
If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yes, yes, it's
Because
so
like
true.
you want to surround yourself,
Better.
like what Emma was saying, like when you're with smart people,
Yep.
you want to let those people talk because you want to learn from them and you want to
Totally.
take something away. And if you're sitting in a room with a bunch of people who can't teach you nothing,
Then what am I doing here?
What are you doing there?
Right.
Like,
It's
then you
It's
are in
people
the
you keep,
wrong
and I think that's
place.
one of the nicest things about our group of friends. All of them, a lot of them are here with us. Is that it's a wonderful way to live is to be surrounded by people that you know, I think push you, guide you, teach you.
Go to Rutgers.
Yeah, go to Rutgers.
I'm not letting that go. I love that.
There is it.
But I think you're right, and I think outside of that too, the only thing I just want to share for people listening in, like, it's funny. A lot of my friends that I grew up with, like, I still am in touch with them. You know, like I didn't grow up with Sal, right? I've known Sal for a long time now.
Yep.
But like Sal and I, he was a client of mine for years, and then we started to see like, oh, we have similar values.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, you know, I want to hang out with this dude, and he felt the same way about me. Then we started hanging out, and then like, I started to make new friends because like at the end of the day, like the whole joke we were saying earlier about Rick Ross, it's like, you know, when I'm with people, I don't want to just be talking, oh, cool shoes, or you have a nice car, like you want, you know, whatever.
The superficial.
Yeah, good.
So when you're sitting in a room with entrepreneurs, the conversation at the top is different.
Totally.
Right? So
it is.
When you're sitting with someone that has their own business or is doing their own thing and is not just working for someone else,
100%.
you have a whole different ballpark of conversations to talk about. And most of my girlfriends are entrepreneurs, are doing their own thing, right? And that's what I love about them.
Yeah, that's why for my wife and I also, it's like typically hard because like when we're out with a lot of our friends, we do have a lot of friends now who are entrepreneurs, but like our other friends that like, you know, she grew up with or I grew up with when we're out, and it's like they're talking about drama or like, you know, oh, I hate my job, my employees are assholes.
Yeah.
I'm on the other side like, well, I think you're an asshole. Yeah. And I'll tell them that too. I'm like, you're being a bitch. Like you got to step it up, like, you know. So at the end of the day, it's like, you know, it's good to be around people. And I always say this, like when you're surrounded by entrepreneurs or other business owners, and you're able to talk about payroll and like, you know, all the tough shit about running a business, it's almost like being in an AA meeting. Because most people can't relate to the shit you're doing.
Yeah, one of our friends said to me and Emma once, they were like, wow, you guys must have really fun dinner conversations.
We're like, yeah, we actually do. We have wonderful dinner conversations, honestly.
Yeah, I love that. So, all right, guys, this is where you plug yourself. For people that are maybe interested, if there's somebody here who's a buyer or somebody who just wants to buy, you know, candy, you know, where can they find you guys?
Visit us at www.iconiccandy.com.
Boom, I love it.
Love it.
And on social, with your social channels and stuff?
You can find us on Instagram at iconic_candy.
Yep. And for 2025, we're going to be launching a new e-com website so that we can actually start doing some B2C business, right? Because right now we're really B2B only. Go to your local stores. I mean,
tell them what stores
we're getting most of them covered.
Yeah, what stores?
Cracker Barrel, It's Sugar, Five Below, Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby, Kohl's, Michael's, Joann's, Old Navy.
Yeah, and many more.
Have you guys ever thought about Home Depot?
Yeah.
Walmart.
Home Depot probably buys some of our product through Vistar, which is a pretty large distributor.
Yeah.
Yep.
We do sell our products, like I bet you like some Lowe's probably has them. We do well in like those Farm Fleet, Ace Hardware.
Yeah.
Some of them are owned by corporate, some of them are owned individually. So you'll definitely find our products in some of those types of places.
Because I was there over the weekend, and I'm sitting there and I see like, because we were talking about nostalgic brands, and most of the guys, anytime I go to Home Depot, it's typically people like our parents' age that are in there like as a contractor. And it's like they were buying this stuff for us. So it's interesting if they see like, especially the chocolate or whatever else, like the cream savers, it's like those types of things. I saw this guy, he was grabbing a bunch of them, and I'm like, dude, how cool would that be if that was there, you know?
Yeah, actually, like these, like the cream saver rolls are so like it's such a good product for that that market because they just put it right in their back part, you know.
So that's really cool. So yeah, so all right, so this distributor will get you in these places without your knowing.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Sometimes we present directly at the retailer. Other times, like it just goes through the distributors, and we don't have anything to do with it.
Cool.
Yeah, then some of our brokers work with these end retailers, but then they don't have their own distribution channels, so that they go through these massive distributors like Walmart, Vistar, H.C. Hackney, McLean, that do distribution to those retailers.
Right. Yeah. It's so wild though too, like because you were talking about this earlier. But like, so we do a lot of stuff like for marketing and branding for like Unilever, and so all their portfolio brands, right? And so it's funny because when you look at some of these legacy companies or these brands that have just been around for a long time, it's so crazy how like a lot of these companies, like because they were good in retail, and that's one thing for you guys, it's like, you know, it's like they start to lean off the gas as it pertains to like ranking on search for these things or like being in other places, so they have those vulnerabilities, which is opportunities for companies like you guys, you know, because there's a lot of like, again, like Liquid IV is one of our clients, right? And so like we're doing their stuff, but when we got brought in, we came to them, we're like, hey, you know, Element and all these other companies who are coming out now who are startups are like kicking your ass on social and on search and all the areas. And so we're like, let's help you not be doing that. So obviously we did that, but that's the thing for most of these brands that are out there. It's like you guys have a leg up on bigger businesses because in their marketing departments, a lot of times they're so huge, but they don't have the right people focused. You know?
And there's too much red tape. There's too many approvals. Like for us, when we make decisions,
they're not nimble.
Boom.
Literally, like
that's the key.
Something comes up, someone will like throw something at us and be like, oh, can you guys do this? like Walmart. They were like, can you do this 3 ounce in a DRC and stuff and this?
And the way we make
like,
our decisions, we look at each other like, does
Don't
that
know
sound
it?
good? Yeah, good.
let's do it. Like, we're good.
All right.
Green light,
Yeah, big
let's
ships
go.
turn slow.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. Well, first off, I think time is an asset we don't go back. So you spending here today with us means the world
Thank
to
you
me.
for having us.
I'm
This is
super
fun.
excited to see this keep growing, and I can't wait to eat all of it.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. Good stuff, guys. Let's go.